So, good day to my fellow classmate and also to Coach Jude. In this video, we will discuss the 4 factors of this 14 learner-centered psychological principle. So, in the previous video, we discussed the principle of this 14 learner-centered psychological principle. So, in this video, we will discuss the 4 factors of this 14 learner-centered psychological principle. So, what are those 4 factors of 14 learner psychological principle? So, 1, we have the cognitive and metacognitive factors. 2, we have the motivational and affective factors. 3, we have the individual difference factors. And 4, we have the developmental factors. So, that's what we are talking today in this video. So now, here Mr. John Mark Cataylo to discuss the first factors of this 14 learner-centered psychological principle.
For this task 7, our open educational references are from the article of Miss Barbara McCombs and Donna McKinley entitled Identifies these 4 domains in more detail and discusses how they are the best integrated in an online course. The Handbook Effective Learner-Centered Practice of Distance Learning Environment. Angelica Cruz from Cognitive and Metacognitive Factors, Angel Bustamante Channel for Learner-Centered Psychological Principle, and Simply Info for what is individual differences, type of differences, psychological terms. Good day, Coach June Martinez and classmates. My name is John Mark Cataylo from 1L BSED Mathematics SH6. Now, I will discuss the cognitive and metacognitive factors. What is metacognition? It comes from the root word meta, meaning beyond. It refers to a higher order thinking which involves active control in cognitive process engaged in learning. It is an appreciation of what one already knows, thinking about thinking, knowing what we know and what we don't know. It refers to the learner's understanding and control their cognitive process, thinking about thinking, knowing what we know and what we don't know. It refers to the learner's understanding and control their cognitive process. What is cognition? Is a term of referring to the mental processes involved in gaining knowledge and comprehension. What are the different cognitive and metacognitive factors or its principles? Number 1, nature of the learning process. 2, goals of the learning process. 3, construction of knowledge. 4, strategic thinking. And 5, thinking about thinking. This domain refers to thought processes. Example, cognitive factors involved in learning as well as the strategies students use to learn and the reflections about their thought processes. The metacognitive factors. The learner-centered principles indicate that the learning processes, particularly for complex material, is most effective when the students intentionally construct meaning from information and experience, and provided support and guidance over time to construct coherent representations of knowledge, can link new knowledge with existing knowledge in meaningful ways, and guide use and develop various learning strategies. In addition, the learner-centered principles indicate that the learning is influenced by various environmental factors such as culture, technology, and instructional or facilitator practices. That's 4 cognitive and metacognitive factors. Now let's move on to the next factor.
Hi, good day, Coach Jude and all of my classmates. Again, I'm ROZEL Jane M. Sanchez from the team Fight to Survive. Last topic is all about the cognitive and metacognitive factors. Now, I'm here to talk to you about my task. It's all about the principles of motivation and affective factors. Motivational and affective factors is the main refers to student effort and engagement while learning. Motivational factors and emotional states, beliefs, and interests affects factors that influence learning. The learning-centered principles indicate that students' motivation to learn is natural when they perceive the context to be supportive and content to be meaningful and relevant. Enhancing this motivation is necessary for learning and student motivation. In fact, what and how is learned in additional student affect emotional state, beliefs, and interests, influences their motivation and tasks that are of optimal novelty and difficulty, are relevant to personal interests, and provide personal choice and control, enhance student intrinsic motivation. First principles is motivational and emotional influence on learning. What and how much is learned is influenced by learning motivation. Motivation to learn in turn is influenced by the individual's emotional state, beliefs, interests, and goals, and habits of thinking. Second, intrinsic motivation to learn. The learner's creativity, higher order thinking, and natural curiosity all contribute to motivation to learn. Intrinsic motivation is stimulated by task or optimal novelty and difficulty relevant to personal interests, and providing for personal choice and control. Third, effects of motivation on effort. Acquisition of complex knowledge and skills requires extended learner effort and guided practice without learner's motivation to learn. The willingness to exert the effort is unlikely without coercion. And that's all. May I call on with Miss LEIZEL Joy for the next topic, please?
So we are done to motivational and effective factors. Now we will proceed to developmental and social factors. Last topic, we discussed developmental and social topics. We learned about developmental influences by learning and social influences the learnings. The conditions and variables that influence emotional, intellectual, social, and physical development from conception to maturity. Examples include parental attitudes and stimulation, peer relationships, learning experience, recreational activities, and hereditary predispositions. And that's all. We will now proceed to the next.
So, good morning, Coach. Good morning, classmate. In this video, we'll discuss the individual difference factors. So, what are these individual difference factors? So, this domain refers to the difference between and within students that influence learning. So, unique characteristic of individuals that have an impact on how they learn. So, individual difference, learners have different strategies, approach, and capabilities of learning that are a function of prior experience and heredity. So, be sensitive to individual difference and vary instructional methods and materials. So cultural and social background, we have Roman, Muslim, and other mother tongue. So that is the different language. So if we teach student in the classroom, so we need to know the background of the students. So that's the individual difference. So if the students speak in Muslim, so we need to teach students. So we need to cooperate with a Muslim conversation. So if your student is a Roman Catholic, you speak in the classroom with Tagalog or other, if their mother tongue is Bisaya, so you need to speak Bisaya as well. So types of individual difference: learning style, aptitude, personality, emotional intelligence. So main causes of individual difference. So we have here race, sex, heredity, maturity, and social economy status. So why do we need to know these factors? So individual difference make the world beautiful, purposeful, and goal-directed. So different people have different needs, and to satisfy the different needs, different types of skill are required. So that is why variability is a fact of nature which help in adaptation. So if you have the ability to design, so you can apply it to the society or to individual person. So that's the individual.
Summary of the learner-centered principles. First, cognitive and metacognitive. Cognitive such as analyzing, summarizing, or reflective of deep processing, as well as general practicing. Metacognitive such as paying attention, consciously searching for practice opportunities, planning for language tasks, self-evaluating one's progress and monitoring error. Second, motivational and affective factors that learner-centered principles indicate that student. Motivation to learn is natural when they perceive the context to be supportive and the content to be meaningful and relevant. Enhancing this motivation is necessary for learning, and student motivation impact what and how much is learned. Third, developmental and social factors. Different developmental levels in the intellectual, emotional, physical, and social development. Activities that account for these differences between and within students are more effectively. Furthermore, learning is influenced by student positive interactions and personal relationship with other students and relevant adults. And lastly, individual differences factors. The learner-centered principles indicate that individual students have different strategies and skills for learning based on their backgrounds and prior learning experiences. And that's all. Thank you for listening.
Congratulations! We're done to discuss the factors affecting the 14 learner-centered psychological principles. Next topic, we will discuss the factors of individual differences. Thank you very much to our references or open educational references for the sources. Article by Barbara Malcolms and Donna Vakili. Angelica Cruz. Angel Bustamante. And Simply Info.